He's the head coach at Butler. He's Brad Stevens, who joins us on the program. Coach, how are you?
Dan, I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I just need a couple of things cleared up.
Uh-oh.
Let me do business first. Okay? Anybody close to you talk to UCLA?
As I always do at this time of the year, I don't comment on any schools but Butler, Dan. I'm sorry. But I will say this, the week, certainly the thing that people refer to as the coaching carousel and those things has really almost become kind of a game and another huge discussion point and talking point. And I understand why. I understand why people are interested in it. But when you are potentially directly affected by those things, regardless of what schools are involved, it doesn't look like a game because it's ultimately your life, it's your family's life, and those type of things, and all the people that you've been around. For me, for 13 years here now, I'm really lucky to be at Butler. I'm really lucky to have the job I have. I've never lost sight of that, and I guess that's the best way to leave it at that.
Well, but, by not talking about it tells me that somebody talked to UCLA, because if they didn't, then you'd say, look, I didn't. I wanted to stay here. I was flattered that they reached out to me. So you said it's a game. What is the game? Is it getting a contract raise, an extension that you can?
No, I'm saying I think it's more of a game on the outside. It's not. I don't look at it in that way, and certainly we've had a lot of discussions here about we don't ever want it to feel like that. Whatever they want to do here from a contractual point of view and everything else, I just want it to be because they feel like it's the right thing. And we're really lucky. I'm really lucky with my leadership here from President Jim Danko and my boss, Barry Collier, who's been my AD the whole time I've been the head coach, that's the way they've always looked at it. Again, it is flattering to be in that discussion. I'm talking about it more from the game of it's almost become a game that people talk about. I think when I started in coaching 13 years ago, the games were the most discussed things, and they still are. Recruiting wasn't nearly as discussed as it is now, and the coaching carousel was discussed, but not like it is now. But it's just it's almost like the next step of the college basketball season is what happens after the season with coaching movement. It's kind of like a Where's Waldo type of thing. But I think the bottom line is that that's what I was referring to when I meant a game.
But the problem with it, though, Coach, is coaches now, and it's blatant, it's transparent in college football, that you get coaches who are flirting with another university, and they don't hide it. They want you to know it, and then it's a quick cash grab. Now we're seeing coaches who, Jamie Dixon got a contract extension, Shaka Smart got a contract extension. Everybody's using the interest from somebody else to say, well, I don't know, I'd be interested. Oh, you're going to sign me to a contract extension. Steve Alford was agreeing to a 10-year contract extension at New Mexico, and then he's UCLA's coach. I don't get it.
I think that's certainly I don't know about the individual standpoints, and I don't know how those things went down, and I also don't know if, in Jamie or Shaka's standpoint, maybe that was already in the works. Maybe that was already the case. Without knowing the particulars of every situation, it'd be hard for me to comment on it.
He's Brad Stevens, still the Butler head coach, joining us today on Patrick Show. And I'm picking on Steve now because it's going to be another head coach. If I'm signing you, if I brought you in or you were going to stay at Butler, I'd say, look, there's no out. There's no out in your contract. We're in this together. Would you sign a contract extension with Butler that did not allow you to have an out?
In all sincerity, probably not. And it has nothing to do with the fact that, I think it's pretty well documented how much I like it here.
Yes.
And it's been very well documented over the last 5 years that this time of the year has at least brought some discussion at some point or another. But at the end of the day, the job is really made by the people that you have a chance to work with. And the people that you have a chance to work with are not just limited to your immediate staff members and your team, but certainly by the administration, the leadership, the faculty, the athletic department. There's so many people that you work with on a daily basis. And the thing that would scare you if you're in a coach's shoes is turnover with the people that believe in you. Because then you don't know if you're going to ultimately have somebody that's hired that has their own agenda or own things in mind.
Yeah, and that's fair.
And I don't blame people who have that.
Yeah,
I don't blame people who have that problem or who have that. But at the same time, one of the things that's made this special for me is I've got the former head coach at Butler University who ultimately hired me, and he believes that the way we go about it, win, lose, or draw, is the right way to do it, and he believes in it, and he's by my side whether we win or lose, and that's not the case everywhere, and I don't think that you can tie yourself down unless you want to, and that's okay too, because the money is such that you might want to, and the job security might be the most important thing going. Each person's different, each situation's different, but you can't put the people in this are the most important part of the equation. It's the most important resource.
I actually tried to put an executive producer in my contract as long as he continued to do this job in TV.
Did you?
Yes. And they said, well, we can't do that. And I said, why not? If this guy is still going to be my boss, then I want to work for you with this product. And they said, we've never done that before. And I said, well, I believe in him. I believe in this company. But if he changes the job, then it's different. And then they said, no, they wouldn't allow me to put that. If you said, I want to put in my athletic director, I'm going to put Barry Collier in my contract. As long as he's in that position, I'll continue to coach here. Would you do that?
You know what? I wouldn't put that on him. I wouldn't put that on him. And I think the other thing is you have to, because we've had plenty of turnover too. Obviously, anytime you have success, you're in a program that has success, people are going to be hired away, and people are going to be wanted by other people. And ultimately, I want, whether it's our basketball staff or our other administrators, I want them to make moves that they think are best for their families and best for their career path. I think that's a reasonable thing that we all should want. And it's not me. It's not in my jurisdiction to decide what they think is best for them. If they ask my advice or if they ask my thoughts, I'll certainly share those with them if that's the case. But, you also trust that, when you have the kind of leadership that we have, that the right people will be put in the right places. And that's what's happened time and again with our turnover. But again, I'm not saying this because it's Butler or any place else. I'm saying it because that ultimately I think what gets lost in the shuffle is the comfort of the people that you're around on a daily basis.
Do you recruit one and dones, the potential one and done?
Dan, my thing on guys that have the ambition to be NBA players, first of all, a lot of players do. Interestingly enough, I think at Butler we probably had more guys that have recognized they have limitations and probably won't be at in the NBA level, and so sometimes those guys are a lot easier to coach because they know that this is really their last hurrah with regard to basketball. Or at the very least, it's the last hurrah before maybe a European experience or whatever the case may be. But I absolutely would if they are ultimately committed to getting a degree from Butler. That has been my deal all along. When Gordon Hayward left after his sophomore year, I felt great peace with that because I know that he was only 47 hours away from a degree, which is pretty remarkable in just 2 years. And that he will come back and get his degree. Same thing with Shelvin Mack leaving as a junior. Both those guys are, constantly asking me about summer opportunities, summer classes to kind of make a dent into that. I feel good about those guys because they ultimately make the decision that they think is best for them. And financially, in a lot of situations, they're correct. And then they can come back and get those. If I know they're going to come back and get it, I've got no problem with that.
You going to watch the Final Four?
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I'll be down there. I've got some committee meetings. I've got some things going on that I've got to be a part of, and I'd much rather miss those meetings than be coaching in it. But I've got some friends that are in the Final Four that I look forward to following, and I always enjoy watching the games and the competitiveness of the games and all of that. And I think a neat part of the weekend this year is they've moved the Division II and Division III games to Atlanta on Sunday, and they're free. So I'm going to take my 7-year-old down with me, and we probably won't go to the Division I games, but we'll probably sneak into the Division III games and watch those and just kind of enjoy it together because I think there's good basketball at a lot of different levels.
Good to visit with you, and good luck.
You too, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Take
Brad.
care.
That's Brad Stevens, Butler head coach.